It is a United Animal Summit on climate change. The animals are meeting to discuss their future.
I call this meeting of the Worldwide Animal Summit to order. As you all know, I am very alarmed with the melting of the ice caps caused by bad grammar and poor word choice. It increases carbon dioxide, you know.
That ain't true, yo. You's making stuff up now.
Quite the contrary, my aquatic friend. It is widely accepted in the stuffed animal community that wordy, grammatically incorrect animals like you are the main cause of global warming. Didn't you see Leo's speech at the Oscars?
Leo finally win an Oscar?
You mean Leo won an Oscar? Subjects have to agree with their verbs.
Yo, that don't make no sense. How does we talking have anything to do with yous losing your iceberg?
Your verbosity is expelling a superfluous amount of hot air. So basically, what he just said is that bad grammar causes climate change.
But groundhog, yous told me that this early spring didn't have nothing to do with any of that stuff, and that I didn't need to learn nothing about grammar.
I lied.
I will bite my fin at them, which will insult them if they takes it.
Do you bite your fin at us, sir?
I do bite my fin, sir.
Do you bite your fin at us, sir?
Is the grammar on our side if we say I?
Nah, dude.
Stop! You know not what you do!
What, you scared to fight us? We ain't gonna use, well, grammar. Grammar? I hate the word as I hate subjects, verbs, and apostrophes. How about the coward? Ah!
Rebellious subjects. Put your mistempered paws and fins down. On pain of being put in a toy chest, we have to agree. Subjects, verbs, pronouns, it's up to you to make a difference. If ever you mistake subject-verb agreement again, your lives. Well, just remember Lotso from Toy Story. It's a dump truck for you.
Oh!
Brought to you by Noe Printing Cavallero Productions.
Copyright 2016.
Okay. Here we are for yet another grammar video. Subject-verb agreement, pronoun antecedent agreement.
You weren't very enthusiastic there.
I know. I'll get there.
Okay.
Rule number 1. A word that refers to one person, place, thing, or idea, singular or number. These are the easy rules, so we're going to go really quickly by these. Give you a second to look at them.
Rule number 2. Singular subjects take singular verbs. Plural subjects take plural verbs. So at this point, we should have gone over this in class.
Yeah, and this is not difficult. Okay.
Well, can we go back for one? I'll point one thing out.
I don't know how to do that. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So one of the things I want to point out is when you have a singular subject, a singular verb has an S. So it's just one of those rules. Most people when they're writing don't get wrong, but if you're being tested on it, people overthink it. And so it's something to point out.
Okay. The number of the subject not determined by a word in a phrase. So you have to get rid of usually prepositional phrases, other groups of words that get in the way of you figuring out what the subject is. So in both of those, what's in, what's colored there should be not even considered. In the first one, the sign is funny. The sign is gone. The friends are fighting. Once you can isolate the phrases and take them out, it makes it a lot easier.
Some indefinite pronouns are singular and they take singular verbs. So each is here today. And the prepositional phrase in that sentence is of the student. So you're not looking at students as the subject. Each is that pronoun is technically your subject.
So we're going to practice this in class because it is one of those things that you just have to go in order. Get rid of the prepositional phrases to figure out what is the subject. That first one, when I tell that to my students, each of the students is here or each of the students are here, almost everybody says are because they're looking at students because it's close to the verb. But that's not the subject. Each is the subject. So take a look at the indefinites. Notice that a lot of them end in one, body, or thing. That's helpful because those are singular sounding. One is singular, body is singular, and thing is singular. And make a note of this. These are the ones that screw everybody up. Each, either, neither. All the other ones will be kind of natural. You wouldn't say everybody are here. That's going to be the natural one. So you're going to go with your instinct for almost all of these except for each, either, and neither. Okay?
Agreed. And we're talking about agreement.
We are talking about agreement, and we agreed. Mrs. Noe and I often agree. Sometimes we disagree, and that's okay too. It's not okay when it's the subject and verb, though. Those always have to agree.
She's just trying to make Mr. Littlefield laugh right now. He's ignoring us.
Some indefinite pronouns in plural are plural and take plural verbs. So these, again, these aren't going to screw you up. You know several's plural. You know few is plural. So go with your gut. Go ahead.
Some indefinite pronouns may be either singular or plural, depending on what they refer to in the sentence. So all, any, enough, more, and depending on what those refer to, plenty or some, it's going to depend on if it's singular or plural, if it's one thing or more than one thing.
This is when students groan. Why does it have to be so complicated? But it's really not. Again, you're going to go with your instinct. You wouldn't say most of the time are spent on cleaning. You just wouldn't. You're going to go with your natural instinct on most of these.
So you're
Okay.
still relating the verb with the subject, but it depends on what the subject is.
In fact, I had a worksheet recently that said, none of the clocks is right, or something like that. And every single one of you said, that's not right, that doesn't sound right, because I had made a typo, I had changed something and didn't change the verb. So you all noticed it. It stood out to you as being incorrect. So that's why, I know that you'll go with your instinct.
Welcome, Mr. Cavallaro.
Hello. How are you guys?
We're fine, thank you.
Good.
Nice
We're
of you to
having
join
fun
us.
with grammar.
Mr.
I'm ready.
Littlefield, would you like to join us?
Nope.
Did you hear him? He said no. How rude. Okay, this is also, again, with the instinct, because when you have a plural, when you're connecting with and, it's making it plural. All right, Mr. Cavallaro, you can handle the next one since you've just
I don't
joined
know.
us.
I'm a little rusty on my subject-verb agreement. All right. So these are a little bit different because they're not a plural subject. It's an either-or example. So you have my cat or my dog. Those don't become plural subjects. You're picking one or the other. So they take a singular verb. Either my cat is sick or my dog is sick. But both of them aren't sick.
Write this down. Always, when you see or nor, and it's a compound subject, meaning more than one, cat, dog, use the one that is closest to the verb
That was a
as your
terrible TV
indicator.
show. Cat
Huh?
Dog. Have you seen that TV show?
No, we're
It was
getting off on
horrible.
a tangent. It feels like class. My students know what
I'm
I'm
trying
talking
to
about.
add some
We
humor
get off
into
on
this.
tangents.
It's getting very dry.
Okay. We'll sing it.
You can sing it. I've warned my students about my singing. They'll go screaming.
We're giving
from
you a
the
chance
room.
to look at these and ponder and really soak in.
As you listen to our late 90s, early 2000s television references.
Okay, here we go. Bye-bye.
Singular subjects and plural subjects joined by or nor. Verb agrees with the closest word. So neither the losers nor the winner is happy. So because winner is closer to the verb is supposed to match that singular.
That's what I just said. Always go with the one that is closer to the verb when you see or nor, and you'll always be correct. Agreed?
Agreed.
Mr. Littlefield is heckling us. We don't like
Just
that.
harshing our vibe right now.
Yeah, got a good vibe going. All right. Somebody different?
We had to warm up.
All right, rule number 10. These are contractions. So doesn't is singular in number and don't is plural. This is kind of an interesting one. It helps if you actually kind of break the contraction down and think about what it's actually saying. It's long form. She does not know you. He does not know you. They do not know you. Sue and Sarah do not know you. You just have to listen for it. Think about what the contractions are in their long form, and that will help you identify the verb more easily. There's an exception to this rule. I and you always take don't. I do not and you do not. Both take plural.
Mr. Cavallaro don't know what he's talking about. Did you catch my mistake?
That nice slang, that vernacular. That was beautiful, Miss Prenti.
Thank you. Just feeling the hip vibe. Okay, going.
Find the 90s hip vibe. Okay.
Collective nouns are either singular or plural, depending on what the nouns refer back to in the sentence. Oh, okay.
This is the one we worked on.
Oh, yeah, we did work on this. Okay. Collective means you're looking at it as one unit. So it would be one thing. The fleet as a group is returning from the sea. Students have trouble with the bread and butter thing, because it
I
looks
do
like
too.
it's
I don't
plural.
like that
Bread
one.
and butter is always part of our meal. It's like peanut butter and jelly is a great combo for a sandwich. You're looking at that as a set
unit.
group, and it doesn't happen very often. But wouldn't it sound funny if you said bread and butter are always part of our meal? It does sound a little, that's not what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're looking at it as a set group. Those
I
two
look at
things
those as
together.
almost like cultural words, like things that we just associate with each other so often that
They're
they
not
become
separate.
one word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, I thought
This
we
is the
edited
change
this.
We did.
Okay.
So just point out the exception.
Right. There is an exception, and it comes up rarely, and personally, I'm not going to put it on a quiz because I think it's just sounds awful.
Yep.
The committee fight among themselves. It's talking about the committee members within the committee, each individually putting up their own fight kind of thing. I would say the committee members fight among themselves, just to clear it up. I just wouldn't do that, and so I'm not going to really force you to look at that. I think just naturally when you're writing, you wouldn't use that rule. You would say the committee members are fighting among themselves. So the next one is the singular one. The committee makes many different decisions, talking about them as a whole doing something.
That's where we change.
Yeah, so the bottom shows what I'm talking about, the last two. The team practices and the team members are practicing. That's how we would change it. There you go. That was a nice,
Little highlight there.
there
Yeah,
you got that?
I like
Okay,
that.
that was fun. Okay, good times.
All right, rule number 12, a verb agrees with the subject, not the predicate nominative.
Even though Mr. Cavalier is talking, I'm playing with the cursor.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so the first example, the marching bands are the main attraction tonight. Main attraction is a predicate nominative. Ms. Snowy, do you want to get into that a little bit more?
For my kids, the acronym you would put over that is PRN, just so you know that. But basically, a predicate nominative is renaming the subject. It's describing it more, and it's going to be another noun or pronoun. So the marching bands is your subject. You're always going to have a linking verb with predicate nominatives, and the main attraction is going to be the renaming of the band. So if you remember predicate nominative, nom kind of sounds like name. That's how I try to help my kids remember that.
And my students probably have not, at this point of you viewing this,
Yeah.
learned about predicate
Right.
nominatives. So we will get there, but you
Mine
just
too.
need to know that you have to find the subject. And the subject is most of the time before the verb.
Right.
Yeah.
99% of the time.
Yep.
There are a lot of
Questions?
places in sentences where you might confuse the subject with another noun or noun phrase that you might think is the subject, like in a prepositional phrase. But you have to make sure you're looking for the actual noun or pronoun that's performing the action. So
Right.
it does get a little tricky.
So I would say in that first sentence, a lot of my students would get that wrong. They would put is in because of the main attraction bit, but it's not correct. Okay, all right. When a subject follows the verb, find the subject and make sure that the verb agrees with it. And this is the here and there. We talked about that, or that the subject is never here and there. Also with questions, if you put it into a statement, you'll see the subject easier. Helen and Walter are
Where?
here, or something like that. Then you can see that that's the subject. There and here, you just have to memorize. I mean, I know that this is slightly incorrect. It's called something else, but if you know that there and here are adverbs, adverbs can never be subjects because subjects are always nouns and pronouns. So just looking at here and there and saying, oh, if those aren't nouns and pronouns, can't be the subject, is probably the easiest explanation that I can give.
And then for my kids, we've gone over expletives. So
Yep.
if you look at the third and fourth bullet point, the actual sentence is trouble is brewing. So in that sentence there doesn't really play a part. So we would count that as an expletive. It's unnecessary to the sentence, but in our usual common language that we speak, we say there is trouble brewing.
Right. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Somebody.
All right. Rule 14, amounts, such as measurements, percentages, or fractions, may be singular or plural. You have to decide on the amount. You have to look at the subject and figure out whether the amount it's referring to is singular or plural. So first example, $20 is too much to pay for that shirt.
Think of it as a collective noun.
Mhm.
It's a unit of money, like all of this together as a whole. Uh-oh, Mr. Gaucher is here, our department head.
And we'll be at every PLC meeting starting tomorrow
We'll have to edit
until
this now.
I get them back.
I don't
Is
know.
that
Pause,
clear?
pause it.
Okay, I don't know how to pause. I think this is actually entertaining for our students. We may have played a prank on Mr. Gaucher.
What'd you do?
We can add this
What'd you
in.
do?
We're making a video. We can add this in to see if they're actually watching the video. Okay?
What
So
happened
there
in the
was
video?
a prank. What happened in the video that did not have anything to do with subject and verb agreement? I don't know why Mr. Gaucher is looking at me, because I did not
But you know.
pull this prank. All right.
Oh. Did it catch what
Hello.
I just said?
Welcome back. Part 2. Mr. Gaucher is gone. He stormed away angrily.
Booted him out.
We still are messing with him. That's the update. Here we go. Rule 15. Some nouns that are plural in form take singular verbs.
Like politics?
Yes, exactly like politics. It's a controversial topic. Not politics are a controversial topic. But these will be things that are natural to your way of speaking, right? So I
Yes.
don't think we need to focus on it.
Okay.
And hopefully no one gets rickets, so that won't ever be an issue.
I didn't
Okay.
read that one before you said it. I was like, what?
Somebody want to do Rule 16?
Go ahead, Parker.
Okay. Even when plural in form, works of art, literature, music, or names of countries take singular verbs. Okay. That's pretty self-explanatory. Take a peek at those titles or those names, and you can see that even though some of them are plural, like Philippines or nations, you treat them as singular.
Okay, ready?
Subjects preceded by every or many take singular verbs. So if you have a subject and before that is the word every or many, the verb is singular. So every homeowner and storekeeper has joined the cleanup drive. So it's like he has would be singular, they have, because every is in front of homeowner and storekeeper, the verb is singular, which is has.
Right, this kind of goes along with that each thing, each homeowner, you're looking at them as individuals. I don't think anybody uses, or very much uses the many a student, so that you can just look at it and see. Okay, there you go. When the relative pronoun that, which, or who is the subject, the verb in the clause agrees with the word to which the relative pronoun refers. This one, I know, you're going to have to unravel that sentence a little bit. But this is the store that has the discount sale. So it's referring to store. The store has the discount sale. You just kind of have to figure out what's talking about. These sentences are fairly easy. You might come across some that are harder to figure out, but generally speaking, it's referring to a word in the sentence, and you just have to know what that word is. Okay? All right, okay. So we've been doing subject-verb agreement, but pronouns also have to agree with their antecedents. And so the same rules for subject-verb will apply. It has to agree with a number. Go ahead.
Just review antecedent real quick.
Oh, yeah, why don't you do that?
Okay, so I know in my class we've talked about this a couple times, but when you have a pronoun, it replaces a noun. So if I said, Mr. Cavallaro is here, he is having fun, the he replaces Mr. Cavallaro. Mr. Cavallaro is the antecedent. That's the name that is the pronoun is replacing. It just gives the grammar, give it another name, which is antecedent.
So these examples will just show you, you won't mess these up. You wouldn't say Daniel Defoe wrote their first book. You wouldn't do that. So these will just review what antecedents are because you know. Okay. Here we go. This is the hard part. Okay. So some indefinite pronouns are always singular. And
This
as
is
I
your anybody,
said,
anyone, yeah.
yes, these are the tricky ones. So logically, everybody and everyone, you're referring to a lot of people, but think about it as everybody. Body is singular. One is singular. So if you kind of separate those two words, every one, each and every one, it might make more sense. So anything that ends in body, one, or thing is going to be singular.
So this is basically the same rule repeated twice in the PowerPoint for you
Oh,
because
yeah,
it's
that's
that important.
We did that other version a few days ago. Either, neither, each. Commit to memory. Okay, go ahead.
Rule 21, some indefinite pronouns are always plural. Okay, so the opposite of that.
Okay.
Both, few, many, several. Yeah.
This is
Okay.
another one. This is
Again,
repeated
these are
again.
repeated,
Yeah.
just look at the pronouns.
Some indefinite pronouns are either singular or plural, so it's going to be based on what it's referring to. So all, any, more. All of the water is melted, so it's referring to water, which water is like a body of water. It is pooling in the valley.
So you see, same rule, just look at the pronouns. Use the singular pronouns to refer to two or more. Neither Richard nor Bob. Now remember, we said that if you're going to do the agreement with the verb, you go with the one closer to the verb. So,
Same rule.
same rule, except this time you are looking at the pronouns. So neither Richard nor Bob distinguished himself in the finals, not themselves. Okay? So this one you have to be careful about. Look at the students or Janet will present her views. That's awkward, really awkward. But again, it's
It's
going
one
to the
or the
one that
other.
is closer to the word.
Rule 24, use a plural pronoun to refer to two or more antecedents joined by and.
Too obvious, I'm gonna skip.
Okay. All right, the number of a relative pronoun, such as who, which, or that, is determined by its antecedent. So Aretha is one friend who. So there's one friend, Aretha, always keeps her word. So there's only one of them there, so you're going to use the singular.
And it's referring to Aretha throughout, so many who volunteer their time. Collective nouns, this is that whole kind of weird thing depending on what you are talking about as individuals or as a group. The swim team displayed their trophies. That means individuals within the team each had different trophies because they won different events. The swim team proudly displayed its trophy, meaning as a unit, the whole team won.
All right, rule 27. An expression of an amount, so measurements, percentages, and fractions, might be singular or plural depending on how they're used. So 10 minutes isn't long, it will go by quickly. 10 minutes is referring to a unit of time. So think of 10 minutes as like the unit. So the unit of time will go by quickly, it. All right, so 10 minutes becomes singular even though you're talking about multiple minutes.
There we go, that's the same rule again.
Singular pronouns are used to refer to some nouns that are plural in form. So Aunt Jean rarely watches the news because she finds it depressing. So even though news can be plural, with the S on it, it's actually the news. So it's kind of like that collective noun again, so you use it to represent news.
Okay. Oops. Oh,
And I think
that might be it.
That might be
I
it.
thought there were three.
Great.
Okay, we skipped two for you.
There you go.
All right, go back, review. So the second half, or less than half, but the second part was basically the same rules. You're just applying them to pronouns.
Make sure your notes are complete.
Bye. Is it off?
no.